What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to AFC South Roundtable, powered by BetUS and Roundtable Sports. BetUS, receive a 125% bonus. The link is in the description of the video. We are back for another one, but it is a sad occasion because no team is left in the playoffs for the AFC South, ladies and gentlemen. It is official. I know misery loves company, but yes, all four teams have officially been eliminated from contention. We're going to talk about that and more right here on the AFC South Roundtable. But before we get started, let's bring in the usual suspects. First and foremost, we already know down at the bottom of the division, ladies and gentlemen, we got Titan Rossi. What's up, man?
What is going on, man? You know, it's been an exciting week for the Titans, and you know, I'm sure we're gonna get into some of that. So I'm excited to talk about that, and I hope all these Titans fans show up tonight and chop it up with us.
Yeah, we definitely have to talk about the acquisition for the Titans. I'm getting a lot of positive reviews. We're going to get into that and more. But before we do, we got another team who just missed an opportunity to have a shot this year. The Indianapolis Colts, Derek Larger. What up, man?
What's up, man? Hey, it was a fun time while it lasted. Ruben, I'm going to get my one shot in here on your boy before you got in here. We got to pour one out for the Texans fans' hopes and dreams. They wanted it. They dreamed on it. Just wasn't quite their year, man. But, hey, shout out to the Texans. We're going to talk about it. Let's go.
All right. Shout out to the Texans. We definitely going to talk about it. But before we do, we got I was about to pump them up like they were the division leaders. I just got so used to that being the case. And then all of a sudden it wasn't the case anymore. Shout out to the Jacksonville Jaguars. You see it.
That's how you're going to hype me up. Hey, man, it was a good run for the Texans, man. It was a fun little back and forth I've been having all over with them. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, they were defeated, and now everybody in the AFC South is sitting on the couch checking out the games this upcoming weekend with only 4 teams left. So it was a good run. It was a fun back and forth I've been having the last few months with Texans fans, but here we are.
Yes, here we are. But Titan Rossi, Derek Larger, UCF Jaguar, we're gathered here today not for holy matrimony, but to lay to rest one of the division teams. They are officially dead in the water. H-Town till we drown, and they drown. What up, Ruben?
Hey, man, what's going on? What is going on, everyone? It's now, you know, it now feels good to be with you losers, man. I hope y'all kept the couch warm for us. The Houston Texans' historic season comes to an end, but you should not be mad for more than 48 hours because the future is as bright as can be for this franchise, man. It does sting. It is bittersweet, but here we are. Hey, shout out to the Baltimore Ravens. They definitely deserved it.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. These are the usual suspects. Make sure you go check out their individual channels. These guys are putting in work on YouTube, social media. So make sure you check them out. Their handles are below in the description of the video. Show them all love or show them all hate, but show them. All right. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Again, this stream is being powered by BetUS, but brought to you by Roundtable Sports. Roundtable Sports, the company that is bringing divisions together, rivals, friends, all in one place to talk football about their division. Man, before we move further, I just got to ask, I want to start with Derek real quick. Just a quick question, man. Can you recap for me, how did you feel about this season with the Indianapolis Colts overall, and give me a grade?
I'm definitely going to give it a minus for this season. I mean, the only reason it's not an A+ is just simply because we blew that opportunity to actually make the playoffs for that final game against the Houston Texans. I mean, again, just like Ruben's team, this was a team that was not supposed to be in the position that they were in. They were not supposed to win 9 games. They weren't supposed to have a shot at a playoff game despite everything that was happening. The roster was too young. It was too decimated with injuries, but yet you have the right coach in there for this team. You've preached a culture of accountability in this locker room, and it's showing, and guys are actually fighting for something that matters. So I'll give it an A-. Yeah, it sucks that we went out the way that we did, but this team was so much more fun to watch than in 2022, and I'm super excited about the future for Indy.
All right. What about you, Titan Rossi? Give me a grade for your team and your overall thoughts of the season.
I mean, it's hard not to give them anything other than I would say like a D, I mean, granted, if the roster wasn't really that great coming into the season, we all knew that this season was going to boil down to the offensive line for the Titans. And we knew that well before the season. They didn't do much to fix it. They brought in Andre Dillard. That was a massive, massive fail on all levels. The guy ended up being one of the worst tackles in the NFL. And I said it. We said it on our network over and over again, offensive line. And that's basically what happened. I mean, the defense, I feel like they did what they could do for the most part, and they kept them in some games. And then obviously Will Levis, that was the bright spot of this season, and DeAndre Hopkins. And I guess if there's one thing that you can take out of the Titans season is, Will Levis and potentially getting a good offensive minded head coach and moving forward.
So was that article that came out, was that fake or something, that the team may be looking to draft a quarterback in the first round?
Yeah, I wouldn't put much merit to that. I mean, I think the Titans are going Joe all the way if he's available at tackle. I mean, there's no way they're going to, I just don't see any way they're going to trade up and get one of those top 3 guys. I think that they're good with Levis. I think they're good with Levis. I mean, Amy talks about, she said it over and over again when she was interviewed, and there was a report by Diana Rossini where she had talked about Vrabel, why he was fired, all that. And Amy has basically said, we have a promising young quarterback. So I think she's cool with Levis at the moment.
Okay. Just that report had my eyes wide, like, whoa, man, but we'll see.
Yeah.
What about you, UCF Jaguar? Give me the grade and your thoughts overall.
We get a D. And the only reason it's not an F is because, you finished with a winning record, but the most hollow winning season ever, man. I mean, you start off 8-3, and then everything just kind of got exposed. Like the roster isn't as good as we once thought. And right now we're looking at it. There's just so many question marks right now. The defense was bad enough to where they fired the defense coordinator. The offensive system, everyone thought they're going to be putting up points all over the place, and one of the worst offensive lines in the league. And then once Trevor Lawrence got hurt, everything just got exposed, and we just looked like a completely different team. And you failed your quarterback in that aspect, so everything just kind of went terrible. And now we're sitting here like, apparently the GM was the guy that hired the new defensive coordinator. There's just all kinds of rumors of like power struggle at the top. There's different things where it's like when you go like 3-13, you're happy the season's over because you're looking at your like number 2 pick, and it's like you can only go forward from there. But man, like with the way the roster is right now, like there's really no way for me to sit here and say that the roster is going to be better next year. So it's a tough spot to be in right now, I think. So yeah, D, awful year, didn't even make the playoffs.
Wow, that's tough, man. Ruben, on you.
I mean, it was an A+. You are division champs. You won 10 games. You won a home playoff game. This was such an amazing season for the Houston Texans, and you found your head coach. You found the guy that can get you there, and that is DeMeco Ryans. You found your quarterback in Coleridge Bernal Stroud IV, man. He is the offensive rookie of the year, and I just cannot wait to see him develop some stars on offense. Tank Dell, Nico Collins. Nico Collins, almost 3 yards shy of 1,300, really burst onto the scene. On the defensive side, you got some great pieces: Derek Stingley, Christian Harris, Will Anderson Jr. There is something building here in Houston that should scare the rest of the league, man. And the fact that they were able to get into the postseason in year one, and I'm going to go ahead and say they won 2 playoff games, because that Week 18 win in your win at Indy was definitely a postseason game to me, man. But overall, an A+ for this Houston Texans team.
Man, oh man, oh man. Real quick, we got some news which I should have brought up, but the Jags did get compensation on a 3rd and a 6th round pick, compensatory picks. Did any of you guys' team get any compensatory picks this year that you know of?
I don't believe so. I haven't seen anything in regards.
They didn't have any good free agents to get signed. That's why they were 3-13 last year.
Oh man, but hey man, listen, at the end of the day, I respect all the grades and the reasons why you gave them, guys. Man, this is really an up and down in the AFC South, but I will say this, I will conclude that this division is definitely going to be competitive, especially within itself going forward. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you check out Roundtable Sports. Make sure that you go to the mother channel, which is called Roundtable Sports. Make sure that you subscribe to it as well. You can check out your favorite on the game show, 3 and Out. My man UCF Jaguar was on there last night with me. We had a duel off 2 champions, and he lucked out and got the victory. Y'all go check out that game show. It was pretty lit last night. I enjoyed it. You didn't dominate. You won by
2-0, baby. I'm 2-0.
You won by 2
go to
points.
the end of this. Show me with that trophy.
Oh my gosh! Don't do
his
it.
fake fantasy trophy that he probably bought because
Look at this.
He just bought for.
Oh my God!
Look at that, dude. I won that. I got that shipped to me express.
Ruben, have you been on the show?
No, not yet. But seeing that title, I might have to go on and try to take that away from Dalton.
Wow. What about you, Titan Rossi?
I'm not, man. I'm not. That title looks pretty good, though.
I can't wait to see you guys on the show. That'll be pretty dope. But yeah, man, he lucked out and got the W last night. But I want a rematch. He barely won, y'all. He was sucking up to the host to get points. I'm just gonna leave it at that. You'll never catch me doing that. But
never.
No, y'all go check out the episode though. It's pretty lit. It's actually, it was really fun though, competing. But check out Roundtable Sports in general. All of your roundtables are listed. Tonight you have the roundtable for the NFC West. That'll be live tonight. They still have the San Francisco 49ers in their matchup, so that'll be pretty dope as well. And listen, Roundtable Sports have more launches coming this summer, ladies and gentlemen. It might be all divisions. I'm just gonna say that and leave it there, but it's the start of something special. There you have it right there, all the roundtables. So check it out. Go subscribe to them all. Show your love and support. Thank you all so much. All right. Now, moving forward, we got to get to what happened this weekend. Let's just call it what it is. We got to get to what matters most. Okay. The Houston Texans went down to the Baltimore Ravens. Let's break it all down. Titan Rossi, I want to start with you. You watched Houston put up a fight for half a game and then it was over. What were your thoughts of that game overall?
I mean, look, I thought that the Texans would play a better game than that overall. I really did. I thought that they would come out and give the Ravens a fight. And, I mean, history shows us that Lamar Jackson has not fared well in the playoffs. So, I mean, it was kind of his first, I think it was really his first playoff game where he really showed out and really did well. Maybe he had one other, but I think this was the first one. But yeah, I mean, I really thought the Texans would hold out longer and kind of take it down to the wire. And I mean, a lot of people were killing me on Twitter because I wanted the Texans to go all the way. And you might say, you're a Titans fan. What are you saying? This is insanity. Like, you should not do this. A lot of Titans fans were giving me hell, and rightfully so. I understand. I get it. But at the same time, like, for me, I'm the type of guy, it's like, look, I would love the chance if the Texans win the Super Bowl, I would love the chance to knock them off twice in a year next year. And, the Ravens, too, is a team that I have a deep hatred for the Baltimore Ravens. I have a resentment that goes all the way back to the year 2000 with the Baltimore Ravens, where Aldo Greco had a terrible game. It was just a terrible game all in all. I believe that was the year after the Super Bowl run where we had this killer roster and we just crapped the bed and it was awful. And we've had all these run-ins with the Ravens. So, but what's difficult for me and is this Ravens Chiefs game, because I really hate the Chiefs equally as much as the Ravens. So it's hard for me. Like, I don't know who I want to win that game, but I don't know, man. I was hoping the Texans would go on a little run there and do something, but hats off to them. They had a heck of a season. Were they supposed to be there? Were they not? I don't know. I don't think their roster was as bad as some people would say, but I think they definitely shocked the world by winning the South and winning a playoff game at that. So, hats off to them.
Awesome, man. Derek, let's go to you, man. What were your thoughts on that game?
Well, listen, I'm gonna be petty here for about half a second. Okay. I definitely was hardcore cheering for the Ravens in this game. Listen, I love Ruben, man, and I love the Houston Texans and what they've done this year, but I was definitely not prepared to have Ruben come in here for another week and tell me that the Houston Texans dream of a Super Bowl was still alive and welcome. So glad that that's finally over for my sanity. But anyways, going into the game specifically, though, I mean, it definitely was a tale of two halves. I mean, it was crazy because I was even texting the group chat and I was saying to myself, Lamar looks frustrated with how the Ravens are looking. And in that first half, the Ravens were definitely not clicking on all cylinders. It took them a little bit to finally get into a rhythm. And that's what I said would happen. And sure enough, it did. Just the only problem is the Houston Texans didn't have an answer as well, especially for their offense. I mean, but for the Texans, you had to feel pretty decent going into that halftime. You were tied at 10 apiece and you were playing the worst football that you had in a long time. And you were still tied with the best team in the NFL this season. You were like, man, we got a shot. We just got to figure it out. But sure enough, the Texans just didn't have an answer for Lamar Jackson and his feet. There's just something about it. Lamar Jackson does that to a lot of different teams. And this is just another one of those things. And, it also makes me feel really great to know that Anthony Richardson next season, a mobile quarterback who's an even bigger quarterback, and even faster quarterback than Lamar Jackson, has that opportunity to be able to do the same thing to that Houston Texans defense. I'm just saying. But the Ravens at the end of the game, they were just the better team. They had the better roster. They were at home. They just had the better quarterback in that moment. And at the end of the day, the Houston Texans gave it their all. They just weren't the better team on that game.
Yeah, we all thought that they had a chance at halftime. UCF Jaguar, talk to me. What were your thoughts of that matchup?
Yeah, man. And hey, look, Texans had a good year, but I'm not going to let them off the hook that easy, man. They were talking reckless going into this game. And look, I had Ruben convinced me that they were going to go out there and beat the Ravens. I think I predicted they were going to win by like 10 points. But I think they got exposed a little bit. Look, they were definitely I guess when you look at everything maybe a year early, even though this is, I think, year 3 of their rebuild. So it's probably time they've been able to stack up some pieces to kind of be able to make this run. But yeah, I mean, we kind of saw what it was like. I mean, they got kind of owned on each side of the ball. Look, the offense didn't score a touchdown this game. And, I think it shows what happens when a quarterback doesn't have a run game. This is kind of what happens. I think there was the running backs combined for 29 rushing yards this game, but then it just didn't help the offense get moving very much. You're out there on run the ball. It would be a wasteful play. You're on 2nd and 11, and then against a tough Ravens defense. It just doesn't work out very well. Then, defensively, I mean, Lamar Jackson is just so freaking good. You know, he's out there. And look, shame on Derek. Don't compare Lamar Jackson to Anthony Richardson, okay? They're completely different quarterbacks, okay? Completely different quarterbacks.
They're literally both mobile quarterbacks. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, but come on. It's a different mobile, man.
Richardson had 2 rushing touchdowns on the Houston Texans in the first 5 minutes of their game in the first meeting.
Dude, I don't remember that because it was like 18 months ago, man. So let's
18 months ago. We skipped a whole season and a half.
Wait, you know what? I'm gonna take the anger away from Derek. I'm still on the Texans right now. We can get into that later. But yeah, I mean the Texans look a good year and everything, but you know the fan base was talking reckless. Ruben was talking reckless, and I know all about what it's like when you talk reckless. Okay, so they got beat. It's unfortunate. Welcome to the couch.
Hey.
Welcome to the couch, Ruben. Before we come to you, I do have to push back on Derek. You say Anthony Richardson's faster than Lamar?
He was running 4 3s at the combine, man.
I just asked. I don't know.
They both at their peaks are running 4 3s, man. And hey, Anthony Richardson is, not to mention Anthony Richardson's about 40 pounds heavier too. So
I saw some rumors that Gardner Minshew is going to start next year.
I will die before I allow that to happen. I will not allow that to happen in the Colts fan base.
Very efficient.
All right. Well, listen.
1 game away from the playoffs, Derek. You know, you can't.
I see you ride the hot hand.
Hey. Listen, he stepped up, man. AR is gonna need time to get ready.
Minshew was cleanup duty, man. He came in there every time Anthony Richardson would get hurt. He came in there and put the team on his back and won the game multiple times.
I'm just gonna say, both times,
not his fault. The running back dropped the ball.
That the Indianapolis Colts, where Gardner Minshew had to come in for Anthony Richardson, I just want to say the Colts were still winning when Anthony Richardson went off the field. I just want to remind everybody of that.
Well, listen, man, let's hear from the man himself in this game, though, okay? Enough about Anthony Richardson. We got to wait for him to get on the field. Let's hear from him himself. Ruben, man, you got the floor. Tell us what happened, man.
Yeah, let's talk about the best rookie quarterback this year, right? Instead of someone who was on the shelf. Man, it was the worst offensive performance all year by this Houston Texans team. And that's just a shout out to this Baltimore Ravens defensive line. Even though it says CJ Stroud was sacked 0 times, I mean, there was pressure since the opening whistle. Justin Matabuke was just destroying our interior offensive line. I knew that was going to be a problem. But the penalties that we had, Laramie Tunsil, 2 false starts, George Fant, 2 false starts, Shaq Mason, a false start, just killing drives for this Houston Texan offense. In the first half, you know, you were feeling good. You saw that we were able to get into Baltimore Ravens territory, but because of costly penalties, we found our way out of it. And, you know, as we mentioned, the 21 days of rest, it affected the offense a little bit. Like Derek said, Lamar Jackson did look frustrated, but their defense was 100% ready to go. You cannot run the ball all game. Your worst performance all year. That was one of my keys to the game, was trying to get it going, because the Baltimore Ravens defense is just almost elite in every single category. And what was crazy is you found yourself an opportunity to be potentially up 13-10 right before half. A missed field goal by Kaimi Fairbairn. And at halftime, you're feeling great. You're thinking this Houston Texan offense has to wake up. CJ Stroud is not going to have 2 bad halves of football. And that's exactly what happened. The offense just an absolute no-show. Your only offense was a 67-yard punt return by Steven Sims. Right there, a huge momentum shift. You're thinking that, okay, this is the jolt the Houston Texans need. But the Baltimore Ravens just showed you that they are the number 1 seed in the AFC. Lamar Jackson might be the MVP. 220-plus rushing yards on the ground for the Baltimore Ravens. The Texans had no answers whatsoever. I think Lamar had a perfect passer rating, but he was just fantastic. He proved all the doubters wrong. And, you know, he's someone that I'm rooting for the rest of the playoffs, man. Just the Houston Texans' crazy historic season comes to an end, but feeling pretty good about the future.
Well, that's all right, but one thing I will say, at least you get to carry on bragging rights as the division champ.
Hey, I'm the king, baby. I'm the king.
Next season starts. We'll see if any of these teams can knock you all off. Time shall tell. Before we move on, we want to talk about the Tennessee Titans' new coach. But before we do, we want to get a quick word from our sponsor, BetUS, where you can receive a 125% bonus. Again, the link is in the description of the video, ladies and gentlemen. And let me ask the viewers a question. Would you like to go to the Super Bowl? Would you like to go to the Super Bowl if it was free? Oh, Titan Rossi don't want to go, but it's all good. Oh, he does.
I'll take him with me.
Oh, you're gonna tag him on Twitter because UCF Jaguar, that's all you have to do. BetUS is giving away 2 Super Bowl tickets, okay? I mean, it's easy. How to participate: place a bet of any NFL line and share your bet slip on Twitter, formerly known as X. Well, X, formerly known as Twitter. Minimum $25, but make sure you tag, okay, the friend that you're going to be taking with you. This is a huge opportunity. Take advantage of it now. BetUS is sending 2 to the Super Bowl. Just amazing. So shout out to BetUS. Again, if you look at this weekend, which we're going to talk about these games on Thursday, we're going to do another stream talking about the games coming up. But I have to ask, man, when you look at these playoff odds, ladies and gentlemen, for the Super Bowl, let me quickly ask, which one do you think is worth taking a shot on? Doesn't necessarily mean it will happen, but which matchup would you take a shot on? Would you take a Detroit Lions to beat the Kansas City Chiefs plus 2,000? Would you take a Kansas City Chiefs to beat the Detroit Lions plus 1,400? What about Detroit beating Baltimore 1,200? Whatever you would take, go on BetUS right now. And hey, this might be the bet that you put in that can help you get to the Super Bowl. But
Look at that. The biggest long shot is a week 1 rematch. Detroit Lions beating the Kansas City Chiefs. That's the longest one. I mean, hey, man. BetUS is trying to give you that money.
You're on to something, UCF. You're on to something. That's kind of how I feel about it, man. But we're going to talk about those matchups and potentials Thursday on the next stream. But again, get in the game now. Go to BetUS right now and go ahead and put in your bets for the championship round. Man, we're running out of football, y'all.
Man,
do y'all feel that? Like we're championship round, then Super Bowl, and then the off season. Oh, these are sad times, especially when everybody's eliminated. No pun intended. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we got to get into one more thing. Okay, The Tennessee Titans, they go and they get their brand new coach since firing Mike Vrabel. I'm going to start with you, Titan Rossi. Tell me everything we need to know about this guy. Do you love it? And what is he going to bring or not bring to the table?
As far as absolutely loving it, I don't know if I absolutely love it. I do like it. He has a lot of experience in the league. His dad, he might bring his dad with him. He might be able to get his dad out of Cleveland. His dad, the famous Bill Callahan, the famous offensive line coach. And that's one of our main areas of need over the past couple years. There's a possibility that Callahan could woo T. Higgins over to us as well. I mean, that's been talked about. He brings a lot of connections with him. I'm excited about what his staff is going to be. And, the knock on Callahan, on Brian Callahan, is that he didn't call the plays in Cincinnati. But there's video and there's reports of the coach who's the head coach at Cincinnati. I can't remember his name.
Zach Taylor.
But Zach Taylor talking about how he was a vital part of the offense in every single way. He was a part of everything, developing the players, drawing up the plays, all that type of stuff. So there's talk of Brian Callahan maybe even calling the plays in Tennessee. So I don't know. It just depends on the staff that he brings in, because one of the main reasons that Mike Vrabel was given the boot was because, he was hiring his buddies the past couple years and it didn't work out. The things got stale in Tennessee. The play was abysmal to watch. The play calling was terrible. It was boring football. And honestly, I would say that the majority of Titans fans were, I think initially the shock of Mike Vrabel being fired was like, oh my God, we just released this insanely great coach. Okay. Is he really a great coach? He was a good coach. You know what I mean? But is he a great coach? You know, a lot of people were talking about him like he was just this amazing Super Bowl winning coach. I mean, he's not. You know what I mean? And he was wanting to control the whole team. You know, he wanted to be GM, all this type of stuff. The Bill O'Brien effect, you know. And I think that the front office was getting kind of over it, and they wanted to step into the future. You know, you look at all these teams, these offensive minded coaches, that's the way the league is evolving. Brian Callahan is that guy. He's an analytics guy. Rand Carthon, the new GM, is an analytics guy. They want to step into the future. And hey, you know what? I am all on board with that. Like, let's do it. You know what I mean? Let's try and see what we got. Let's try to evolve this offense, get it where it needs to be. The saddest part about this whole freaking thing to me is Derrick Henry is more than likely, I'd say 95% chance not going to be back. That's sad. I hate that. But at the same time, I'm excited about Brian Callahan and what, you know, potentially he could bring to this organization.
All right. Well, thanks, man. Hey, Derek, do you have any thoughts about the hire in Tennessee?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it's a solid hire. Like we said, he's probably going to change some things up offensive scheme wise, which is, I think, what Tennessee is desperately needing. Is they need a different change in how they approach this. But at the end of the day, this does not really change the Tennessee Titans in a lot of different ways right now, because I personally don't believe that Brian Callahan is going to be able to just all by himself immediately transcend this team from a 5-6 win team to all of a sudden being back in playoff contention. I don't necessarily think that that's all that you need, but like Rossi said, with being able to try and get some of those connections, try to bring a player or two with him, bring some of those assistant coaches and personnel coaches that are going to help change this team, you know, being able to bring his dad, if he's able to do that, you know, bringing in a good offensive line coach is definitely a start. I mean, Indy, you can just ask Indy what a change in the offensive line coach did for Indianapolis's offensive line. We were one of the worst offensive lines in football last year. And then this year with the same exact team, same exact offensive line, we're top 5 once again because we got a new offensive line coach that knows how to figure things out. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about who does he bring in to help with the rest of the group, and, you know, ultimately what players are you going to be able to bring in, and do people want to come in with Callahan as, you know, that kind of guy? And, you know, obviously that experience with Burrow and Higgins and Chase and Mixon and understanding how an explosive offense is ran, sure, didn't call the plays that much, but he understands. He gets what it takes to be a true elite offense. And, you know, he understands it, that you got to get some better players there first, and then that system will fall into place. So overall, don't think it was the slam dunk hire. There was definitely bigger ones out there, but Callahan was a top 3 favorite for Indianapolis's head coaching position last year. So no doubt Callahan was still one of the higher names in this whole coaching portal. So they got themselves a solid one there.
Nice. UCF Jaguar, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, when I first saw it come up, I was honestly a little bit confused. It just threw me off a little bit because I hadn't really heard this name very much. And, you know, this is a coaching cycle where there really are like a lot of huge names. Obviously, you know, Mike Vrabel just got let go. You have Bill Belichick out there. You have, you know, Harbaugh out there too. It's just a lot of huge names out there. Then, you know, they hired Brian Callahan. So I know I did a little bit of research on him. And, you know, when you look at his coaching history, I mean, it's not super decorated. It's not like he has this long line of like, been coaching this since like 2000s. I mean, he's, relatively fresh when it comes to the coaching ranks. But, I think they're trying to kind of find a guy that can create a more innovative offense for today's era. A lot of times when you get rid of a head coach, you want kind of a mindset change. And, Vrabel's kind of that, like, we're going to ground and pound. We're going to, play this really, really tough defense. And I think they kind of want a team to more go, in a direction of the Bengals or, the Rams, kind of be one of those teams that, okay, we're going to start airing it out and, having our wide receivers be our true playmakers as opposed to, having that bell cow. And you're kind of seeing that Derrick Henry most likely will not be on the Titans next year. And you're kind of going to see them transition to more of maybe like, a air kind of scheme. I mean, they already have an air back with Tajay Spears who's going to help out, in a lot of that situation. But, you wonder what this guy's review of Will Levis is. Was he a hire because he said that, look, I like Will Levis and I'm going to be taking him to the next level? Or is he a guy that says, hey, I like 3 or 4 quarterbacks in this draft. I want to get one of these guys and then go forward. It'll be, Titans are in a fascinating situation right now because, they've got some fat to trim on the roster, but they also have plenty of draft capital and, they got some young pieces and, it'll be really, really interesting to see what they do, at quarterback, because we've, seen them before when it comes to, what are they going to do with the quarterback? Is it, do they have a Zach Mettenberger, or do they have, a true franchise quarterback back there in Will Levis? We don't really know yet.
Wow.
Don't say that name.
Okay,
What?
Marcus Mariota. I see a Marcus Mariota.
Jake Locker.
What am I supposed to say? Warren Moon? How far back am I going to go?
Wow.
Literally.
Mettenberger was awful. Oh my gosh, he was terrible.
Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, please hit that like button. All right. Show some love and support to the channel. And if you're new, make sure you subscribe, because these guys are almost at 3,000 subscribers. We are literally less than 30 new subs away from 3,000. Amazing times, man. Hit that like button. Let's go to Ruben on this one. What are your thoughts of the addition of the Titans' new head coach?
Yeah, Callahan was someone that us ourselves, Houston Texans fans last year were looking at as someone who could be a potential head coach, an offensive-minded guy, someone who's been around good quarterbacks, Matthew Stafford in Detroit, Derek Carr in Oakland, Peyton Manning with the Denver Broncos, and just recently Joe Burrow. So he knows exactly what good quarterback play is, and does he see that? Well, with Will Levis, if you are a Tennessee fan, you are definitely thinking he came here because he thought he had something. With Will Levis, who definitely flashed something this year. I mean, first game, 4 touchdowns, just absolutely airs it out. It's crazy, but definitely like the signing for Tennessee. Now, I definitely think that they're going to have some patience with Callahan because it's a big old mess down there. The offensive line is horrible. You have some people on contracts that you got to get rid of. There's going to definitely have to be some patience with Callahan, but I definitely think they got a solid head coach.
Nice. Well, the future is bright, but hey, there's a lot of decisions that have to be made for all your teams, especially the Titans, when you talk about the quarterback situation. But time will tell, ladies and gentlemen. All right, well, there you have it. That is the Texans recap. That is your recap on the Tennessee Titans hiring their brand new coach. We will have so much more content and updates throughout the offseason moving forward. So don't think we are going anywhere for the offseason. Make sure you continue to tune in right here on the AFC South Roundtable. Any last words, Ruben?
Hey, I can't wait to do it again next year, man. H-Town, Tui Drown, CJ Stroud is going to run the AFC South for the next 10 to 12 years.
Bold proclamation. UCF Jaguar, last words?
Yo, I'm looking at you, GM Trent Baalke. Don't screw this up, okay? I hate you. Go, Jack.
Oh, man. Derek, talk to us.
Is CJ Stroud going to run the AFC South for the next decade? Not if Anthony Richardson has anything to say about it, boy. We're coming, man. We coming.
Yeah, he's clearly going to run it, man. He's faster than Lamar Jackson.
Hey, most athletic quarterback ever.
All right, well, Titan Rossi, close us out.
Well, it said online. I looked. It said AR ran a 4.43 and Lamar ran a 4.34. You know, that was at his pro day, but you know, I don't know.
Wait, so is Derek
But,
actually incorrect?
and maybe I don't know, but anyways, guys, no, I'm excited about the future, man. I think it's gonna take a couple years for the Titans to get back up there, but you know, I'm excited to see what we can do this off season with the money we got and the draft picks and all that. So we'll see.
All right. Well, time will tell, and we'll keep everybody up to date on all things AFC South right here on the AFC South Roundtable. Until next time, we'll see you soon. We love you all. Again, thank you to BetUS, and make sure you go check them out for those Super Bowl tickets. Peace. We are out. Hit that like button on your way out. See you soon.
H-Town till I drown.